And as you find this seat, also begin to find your breath. Observing the breath come in through the nose, down through the windpipe, into the lungs, and reversing. And start off with just observation of the breath to learn something about yourself at this very present moment. As we start a new year, as we go through many changes in our world, can you settle into the present by connecting to your breath? Just another moment here of silence for you to help find your grounding connection to the present moment. Giving yourself this time to let go and immerse in the present. Now start to bring some control to your breath and use a count to count your inhale. Maybe that count is 4 or 5 or 6. Take a pause and then exhale to the same count. Your equal part breath can help bring a symmetry to your practice and a very simple tool to bring control to the breath. The breath is a powerful tool that can be observed, and it can happen freely on its own, or you can take control of it. Take a few breaths of gratitude for this powerful tool. And gratitude for the practice of yoga, giving you an opportunity for this next hour to align your mind to your body and perhaps even connect to your spirit. Finish up 2 more rounds of equal part breath. And after you've finished, come down onto your back, taking your time. And when you arrive down onto your back, hug your knees in. Give yourself a hug of gratitude that you've given yourself this time this morning. Rock side to side on your back, massaging the muscles of the back. Feeling your whole spine long on the back, so release your tailbone and feel the tailbone connect and get a massage in the low back. Maybe that means releasing your knees slightly. Good, and now hug your knees in and then take the feet and legs up towards the ceiling and plant your hands down next to your hips on the mat. And then you're going to take a little rock, lifting the hips up and then lower the hips down and low back down. Keep low back grounded down as you slowly lower straight legs to hover and then bring them back up again. And then a little push to lift the hips up. And then iron the low back down onto the mat and press out through straight legs, lowering to hover. And continue this cycle as we start to wake up through the core. Engage through the thigh muscles to get length into the hamstrings. I'm so pleased to have Catherine here, one of the teachers of Bottom Line Yoga. She'll be teaching again at 10, and I'll be joining her for that as a participant. Continue this movement. And we'll do one more round. And then when you lower your legs to hover, let's hold them for just a few breaths. Keep the legs lifted high enough to keep the entire low back grounded down onto the mat. Use your breath for power here. And then hug the knees back in. And take hands behind the head. Now, you're going to bring one elbow to one thigh and straighten out through the opposite leg and then switch. Go nice and slow. Have this be just as much about the twist and the nice stretch dynamically into the hips as in the back as it is a core workout. Exhale as you twist each side. So that means you go nice and slow to inhale, come back to center, and exhale, extend. Catherine has been a big inspiration for me. She recently shared a story about her journey to self-reflection and connection through the practice of yoga, of achieving sobriety. And I had taken some acknowledgement myself and learned a lot from her. So now, finish up that round, hug your knees and grab your hamstrings, and we'll rock forward and back. Rock up to a boat pose. Your boat pose could mean that the shins are parallel to the mat. Maybe your feet need to even be on the ground to start. Hands behind the hamstring create length into the upper body. Reset yourself, and then maybe you can lift the legs. Yeah, the pandemic has slightly gotten the best of me, I think. I mean, I came to yoga as a non-drinker. But before that, I was quite a drinker. And then the superpower of yoga allowed me to come back to drinking, but the pandemic has kind of gotten the best of me with that. So I'm taking a little break. I'm only on day 3, but I'm pretty proud of myself. Cross at the ankles, we're going to come into a plank. Walk your toes in to get really strong in your plank. So I'm going to give it my best and just try one day at a time. See if I can go for 30 days. And then reassess from there. Walk your toes in, press back more. Just make this even a nice calf stretch, and you'll notice that your leg engagement will make this plank a little bit easier for you. Gradually lower down to one elbow at a time and interlace your palms. So my intention for today's class is to take things one day at a time, 1 hour at a time, perhaps even one breath at a time. Use this time to set your intention. Something that's already within you that you're just trying to bring out. A couple more breaths. Of course, you can lower down your knees at any point. Listen to your body, the key part of the practice, and that will give you the ability to connect your body, to connect to your intention. Lower the knees down and bring the elbows out a little bit to Sphinx. This should feel like a nice release after the core work we've done. Put some free movement into your head and neck. And then let your right ear draw over to the right shoulder, but then try to pull that right shoulder down and away. Center and try the left. Let's try one more each side.
I look into the sky. You try.
Bring your hands where your elbows are.
I follow into the
And then take some rolls of the shoulders. Take your arms out to cactus.
Now you're not there.
Cactus means the elbows are in line with the shoulders out as far as they can, and forearms are parallel to the long edges of the mat.
Do you feel me?
Good. Now bring your fingertips up and draw the upper body up to come into a wide-armed cobra, and then sink down. Peel yourself up, flowing with the breath now, and then melt down. A couple more. Maybe you come up a little higher with each one, maybe the same amount. And draw yourself down. Bring your hands back near the mid-ribs. Tuck your toes under. Press up to a strong plank, and then lift the hips up high. Pedal it out side to side. Take a few breaths in a neutral downward dog, pressing back evenly through both heels, lifting the sit bones up high, perhaps even a little bend in the knees to get long through the torso. Really press into the thumb and the first finger to wide out and activate through the outer arms to spread the shoulders nice and wide. Start to look a little forward, but always keep the eyes on the mat as you take a little walk up to the top. As we take this little walk, we think of this new journey we're going on, 2021. What does it entail for you? Grab opposite elbows and just sway. Melt down. Release yourself from the future and bring yourself back to the present. Walk your hands up your shins, or maybe even above the knees to get a flat back and lengthen out and melt into that space. 2 more. Inhale, lengthen. Maybe knees have a slight bend in them, that's okay. And release. 1 more. You're getting long here to create space into the upper body to open and free the heart. And then melt. Now, bring your fingertips down, bending your knees as much as you need to touch the mat. Then lift the upper body up, coming into a chair. Yes, yoga is a very powerful tool. I'm so glad for some of the issues I've had in my life because it's what brought me to yoga. So I'm thankful for that. And it gave me many years of being very mindful. And I was still able to function very well as I was doing some pretty heavy drinking during the pandemic. A couple cocktails during happy hour, a couple glasses of wine during dinner. And yoga would always help me to come back to normal. But what I realized is I wasn't advancing. I was just using the power, the superpower of yoga to just return myself back to normal. So I'm going to give 30 days to try to change that. I invite you to bring whatever change that you would challenge yourself to for the new year. Without judgment or pressure. Big breath in, super strong in the thighs. Feel them burn. That is part of how you make the mind-body connection. And then fold forward. Take a halfway lift. Plant the hands. We'll step back to a plank again. And then in this plank, give the bend to one knee and then the other. Just back and forth. You'll feel that you have to use more of your shoulders and core and back muscles when you release one leg and the other because your legs aren't doing as much as the work. Really strong. Now press back through both heels. Now you feel the strength. Walk the toes in a little bit. Let's rock forward and back. Just 5, 4. Feel the strength in the upper back muscles, especially the chest muscles and the arms. Rock forward, lower knees. Bend the elbows halfway down, and then spin the chest open. Leave the thighs on the mat. Cobra pose. Exhale, lower, tuck the toes under. Press up through a strong plank, and then turn the hips up high. Downward dog. Couple deep breaths to reset. Gaze forward, take a little walk to the top. Halfway lift, try to get a nice flat back. Fold into that space. Sit back into your seat again for chair. Now we won't hold this one as long. I'm not going to tell you a whole story while we go through this. Let your breath be the story. Big breath in and fold. Halfway lift. Plant the hands, step back to plank, and then let's let the hips dip side to side. You're rolling onto the outside of the feet. Try keeping the hips lifted as you just take a little tip of the hips side to side. All right, come back to a strong plank. Walk the toes in a little bit. Come forward, lower down halfway, and then all the way. Bring the arms out to a T. Now, plant the feet down into the mat, hip width apart, peel the chest up. Activate through the arms, reaching out through the fingertips as you lift up through the chest. Now, can you keep the lift as you take the arms back behind you? Interlace the fingers, draw the fist back and open up through the chest. Keep the feet planted. This is your first big heart opener. Gaze down a little bit just in front of the mat so you keep the spine long, the neck long. And then lower down. Take a cheek to the mat just for a moment. Settle into the mat, really sink in. Feel the support of the mat. And then come back up. Now, keep your hands down by your hips, but turn them palms face down and zip your legs together, touching big toes. Get long through the legs and then lift the legs up. Head up just a little bit so you have room to breathe. Chin slightly tucked in. Try to walk the fingertips down a little more. Imagine you're squeezing a block between your legs. Zip the legs together. Now elevate the fingers like you're soaring. Draw the fingers even closer down to your hips. Shoulder blades kissing together. Really long and strong. Big breath in, and then exhale opposite cheek to the mat. Take a few breaths. Really let your whole body be supported by the mat. Then come back up. Hands next to ribs, tuck toes under. Press up through plank and back to downward facing dog. Couple deep breaths here. Take that slow walk up to the mat again. Take your time. This is a journey we're on. Enjoy the entire journey, every step. Inhale, halfway lift. Fold. Now come back into your chair. You know, one thing I love about teaching online is that I do chair a lot because when I stand up all the way, my head comes off camera. So we get a little extra thigh workout. Take a big breath in. Sit down a little deeper. Adding some twists on for the new year. Bring the hands to heart center. And then can you tap opposite elbow to opposite thigh? Back to center and switch. Center and switch. Kind of like how I said that. You didn't really know which one was opposite, did you, at first? I didn't either. One more time each side. I feel the thighs burning. That's bringing some connection to my mind and body. Now, rise on up, hands to hips, and open up into a heart opener. Draw the elbows back, standing back bend. Nice release here. Thighs forward, hips forward, strong in the legs. Try to soften through the glutes. Rise on up. Forward fold. Bend in the knees. Just let the body sway side to side. Plant the hands. Take a big step back with the right foot. All the way to the back of the mat. Lower the right knee down. Untuck the right toes. Rise on up into a lunge. Comes into a slight back bend here. Cactus the arms. Open up through the heart. And then inhale, rise up. Touch palms together to make a connection to your intention. And then open heart cactus. Inhale, touch palms. And exhale, cactus. Lean forward, stretch into those hip flexors. Come back a little more this time. Maybe you can straighten out through the front leg and reach forward. Inhale, come up, bend into the front leg, cactus the arms, open the heart. Come on up, keep the back bend, reach back. Swim the arms forward and step the back right foot forward. Big toes together to touch, sit back into your chair. And fold. Now big step back with the left. Untuck the left toes, left foot into the mat, rise on up. And then cactus the arm, heart comes forward, chest comes forward. Inhale, come up, touch palms. Maybe you can look up at the palms this time, find your intention, and then peel open the heart. Let it flow in. And again. One more time. Maybe this time you can straighten all the way out through the front leg, the right leg, and then bow with a flat back. Inhale, come on up. Knee comes forward. Big back bend, cactus the arms one more time. Then keep the back bend, arms up. Palms touch. Swim the hams forward and step forward. Big toes together to touch. Inhale, halfway lift. And then fold. We'll take another step back with the right leg, but this time we're going to stay on the ball of the right foot. Front knee, right over ankle. Rise on up into a high lunge. Big breath in. Twist, right hand forward, left hand back. Gaze back at the left hand. Inhale, swim the left arm down to come up to meet the right. And then right arm forward, left arm back. Gaze back at the left fingers. One more time, come on up. Gaze back, maybe you gaze back and you can take the left hand to the right thigh. That's back. And then spin yourself open to an exalted warrior. Such a beautiful shape for a beautiful morning. Connecting your breath to your movement, perhaps even your intention. Then swim the hands. Step back with the left foot. Rock forward in your plank. Bend and lower halfway. Then you can take your knees down or spin your heart directly open into an upward facing dog. Thighs off the mat. And then use your core to come back to downward facing dog. Take 2 deep breaths. Now gaze forward, put a bend in your knees. Perhaps you can take a little hop up to the top. Big toes together to touch, halfway lift. Fold, sit back into your chair. Plant the hands, big step back with the left leg. Press back through the ball of the left foot and rise up with your knee right over the ankle into a high lunge again. Big breath in, let's twist, right arm back, left arm forward. Gaze back at the right fingertips. Swim the right arm down and up to meet the left. And we'll go again. Gaze back at the right fingertips. Inhale back to center. Observe how the movements feel on this side. Super strong in the legs. As you come back, maybe touch. Right hand to left thigh. Spin left arm open. Opening your heart up to receptivity. Connecting to your breath. Breathing big into the left lung. Swim the fingers down to plant and step back the right foot. Come forward. Bend the elbows lower, just even less than halfway is great. Spin the chest open. Use your core back to down dog. Take a few breaths. Gaze forward, look forward. Let's bend the knees, take the little hop up to the top. Big toes together to touch, graze fingertips, booty back. Lift the chest up into chair. Big breath in. Plant hands or fingertips, step back with the right. Press back through the right heel. Rise on up into your lunge. Now little pulses. This part of the flow was inspired to me from Yoga Journal magazine, from a yoga teacher who was also a professional football player. Today's a big day for professional football. The yoga teacher, ex-football player, was named DJ Townsend, and he posted this sequence, so we'll give some credit to him. Pulse the legs. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, I feel the burn. Thanks, DJ. Okay, you're going to step all the way forward. Halfway lift. Fold. Rise on up to standing. Hands to hips and take your feet hip width apart. And then draw elbows back, open up standing back bend. Come on up, bend in the knees. Fold forward, heel toe the feet back together to touch. And then a big step back with the left leg. Rise on up. And then pulse here. Stay active in the back leg. Press back to the heel as you pulse it out. Try to keep our sides even. That was a long set we did on that one. Make sure you're doing the opposite leg. I think I am. Pulse it out for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Step forward and melt forward fold. Halfway lift. Fold, rise up. Heel to the feet out, hip width apart. Exhale, hands to hips, and then inhale, open up through the heart, standing back bend. And then folding forward. Little bend in the knees to melt down. Plant the hands, step all the way back to a plank. And now what we're going to do is you're going to cross opposite knee to opposite elbow. Take an inhale back to plank, reset, and exhale, cross opposite knee to opposite elbow. Start to move with your breath. Inhale, reset every time in plank, and then exhale and twist and bring the knee to the tricep or elbow. 5, 4, super strong, you got this. 3, use that exhale to help get the knee to the elbow. Just one more each side. And hips up, high downward dog. If you need to take a break in a child's pose, take a couple breaths to reset and come back to your intention. Otherwise, do the same in the advanced resting pose of downward facing dog. All right, gaze forward, just right between the hands. Put a bend in the knees. Either walk or hop up to the top. Halfway lift. Fold. Now a big step back with the right leg. Back into the lunge. Rise on up. Now what we're going to do here, you're going to take a big breath in. You're going to use your, let's do this first, just the arms. Big breath in. And then right arm is going to come down and back. Big breath in. My right arm comes up. And exhale, right arm comes back. Now this is going to be a little momentum driver to try to bring the right knee up into your chest as you spin this right arm back. So let's try. Big breath in, and then stand up and bring the in. Use the exhale to drive the knee up in. Keep extending out through a strong left arm. Just 5, 4, 3. We see how we warmed up this thigh so that we could have a strong base. And last one, back into the lunge and twist. Left arm back, right arm forward. Maybe you can find the right thigh and spin open. And then cartwheel the hands and step back. Rock forward. Lower all the way down to the heart and the belly. Take the arms out in front of you. Lift left leg and right arm. And then switch. And then go back and forth, just breathing a little quicker, exhaling with strength. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Hands near the ribs, tuck toes under. Press up and hips back, downward dog. Couple breaths to reset. Maybe a couple breaths in child's pose. Look forward, bend the knees, hop forward. Halfway lift. Fold, rise on up. Move feet hip width apart, hands to the hips, and open up, standing back bend. Let your heart just be open and receptive to this new year, to this opportunity for a new you. Enjoy the journey. Come on up, bend the knees, fold forward. Take a big step back with the left leg. Rise on up into a lunge. Okay, now really active into the arm. See if you can bend the front leg a little more. Then the left arm is going to come down and back. Big breath in. And then use a strong exhale to bring the arm back. Couple more just to get used to moving the breath and using the breath in the arm as force. All right, now a little more weight in the front leg. And then left arm is going to swing down as you bring left leg up. One side's going to be more challenging than the other. So you rise all the way up to standing, strong in your core muscles. Thank you to the right thigh for its strength to be able to propel you forward. And lift the left leg up. Just 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back into the lunge. Right arm comes back, left arm forward. Maybe you can find the thigh and spin on open. Oh, open the heart. And then cartwheel the hands. Step back. You will find your way, taking your time, all the way down to the belly. This time we're going to bend the knees. Feet up towards the ceiling. Cactus the arms again. Or since it's football playoff times, maybe goal post. And then lift up thighs and elbows lower. This time use an exhale to lift. A little different and counterintuitive to yoga, but you're using the force till you get strength in the upper back. Exhale, rise, and inhale, melt. Feel that booty strong. Strong in the hamstring muscles. We need to do this to counterbalance all the thigh work we've been doing. See if you can hug the shins in a little closer to the booty. 5. Remember to exhale to lift. 3, 2, and 1. Super strong, good work. Hands next to ribs. Tuck the toes under. Press up to plank. Lift the hips up. You deserve this little break in downward facing dog. You can try this one more time, a little different. Inhale, take the right leg up. And exhale, draw a knee to nose, shoulders over wrists. And inhale, pull back, and exhale, draw it. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it in and plant it. Now rise on up into the lunge. This is a step forward. Notice, does the lunge feel any different? Because it makes a difference whether you step back or step forward. Now this time, I want to try both arms. And when you exhale, you're going to pull the arms down bent and pull them in really strong to the abdomen as you kick the leg up and out. So an up and big breath in, try to kick it out and then back. Reset each time. Big breath in and exhale. Strong through the whole body, relaxing through the face, the jaw, and the cheeks. Just 5, 4, 3, 2. Can you hold this one? Can you kick the leg out? Good work. Now, bring the legs down, bending the knees side to side. All that activation, can you get just as loose now as you were active in that little sequence? Side to side, come back to your intention. Come back to your breath. Little bump of the kidneys. My kidneys are just they're saying thank you. We're trying to get a little detoxified. Bending the knees, fold forward. Good, halfway lift. Step back to plank. Now, what we're gonna do here, activate a little more through the upper body. You're gonna tap opposite shoulder so you stay strong in your plank. Now, an extremely strong plank can also be down on the knees. If you're down on the knees, bring the hips a little more forward. That's super strong. If you're like, oh no, I can do it with integrity in full plank, well then you go ahead and do that. That's awesome. Proud of you wherever you're at. Tap and tap. Can you take any of the wiggle and movement from side to side out of the hips to really try to keep your core, keep the hips steady and your leg muscles? Just 3 more times each side. Again, you know your options. I think there's one more. Okay, good. Now just lower the upper body and just sink into a high cobra. Bring the chest forward. Gaze over the right shoulder. Center the left shoulder. One more time each side. Can you open up through the heart, taking the shoulders down? Tuck toes under, lift the hips up high. Downward dog. Good. Now take the left leg and lift it up high, 3-legged dog. Then draw it in towards the chin. Shoulders over wrists. We go through this movement. Pull back. Draw in. Inhale. Exhale. 3, 2, and 1. Hug it in. Plant it. Rise on up into your lunge again. Okay, so we're back into this lunge. We've been here before. Our legs are saying, yeah, we sure have. Okay, start with the arms. Big breath in. Pull with strength. This is a core activation. Inhale. Exhale, pull. Couple more. Find that inner harnessed strength and then add the leg. Up, maybe kick it out. Now you can take out the kick. Do what you did on the other side as best you can because each side is different. Try to keep balanced. Use that exhale breath with power all the way into the low belly. We got this. Each one with strength, integrity, focus, and intention. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Step it all the way back. Plant the hands and step back. Good. Now, come forward and back to downward facing dog and then forward to plank. Exhale, hips back. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Now, coming back to this sequence invented by DJ Towns with a football player. So, of course, it's got some push-ups in it. Come forward. Let's see, you can lower down to knees. Let's all do knees to start. Bend the elbows just 90 degrees and press back up. Big breath in. Exhale. Big breath in. Exhale. Let the shoulder blades come together. Elbows even coming together. Press back up. Breath in. Good. Strong in the shoulder muscles. One more. Tuck toes, hips on up. And then here's a nice little relief with movement. Bend the legs, knees all the way down onto the mat. Rise on up. Hands onto the hips here is a kneeling back bend, also known as camel pose. Use your hands to support the low back for this one. Come back to your breath. Feel that invigorations from those football lunges and the push-ups. Feel the chest muscles awakening, creating space for the heart to open up into the new year. Now, for your strength, I want you to bow to yourself. Take hips to heels, forehead to mat. And then come on up. Open yourself up to this new year, new possibilities, a new you. Exhale, hips to heels, forehead to mat. Bow to yourself. Inhale. Let's say an intention to someone, a dedication. Who are you going to give your dedication to? Bow to them. All right, here's someone that's passed, that's been a big influence on your life. Say thank you to them. And inhale, let's come back up into the kneeling back bend. Take this nice and easy. Take some rolls of the shoulders here. Just a gentle back bend. And now, I'd like to think of someone that's given you some issues, some challenges in 2020. Can you let go of that and bow to them? Think of that person. They've given you issues. They don't understand what's going on. They don't get the picture. They're giving you grief. They're giving you strife. They're giving you whatever. Maybe a bunch of bullshit. But can you let it go and bow to them? Hips to heels, forehead to mat. And settle in and take a few breaths. Let this one sink in. It's the hardest one to let go of. Peel yourself on up nice and slow. Come back up to kneeling again. Now, we're going to try to come forward into the low lunge again, but we're not going to use our hands this time. We're going to use the core muscles that we've been activating. So, lean slightly over to the right. So you can pick the left leg up and step it forward. Tuck the back toes under, rise on up, arms up, and then lower back knee down with arms up. Can you bring the leg back? Hands back down. So lean over to the left leg out into a lunge, tuck toes under, rise up, arms up. Okay, now with no hands, lower back knee down, and then left leg comes in. Now let's try it with arms up the whole time. Can we do it? Back, tuck, rise, lower, back, forward, tuck, up, lower, turn, back. Let's try a few more each side. All right, rise on up here. Last one to get to the other side. And good job. Lower down, knees together, toes together, open up, and then bow to yourself again, hips to heels. This one's gonna be a little more challenging to come all the way down because your knees are together, so take your time. One more like this, really slow. Come on up. Is there something bigger than you that can give you power? If there is, bow to that. Hands back behind you and just sink in. Breathe into the upper body. Peel yourself on up. Take the feet hip width apart again in the knees. Tuck the back toes under, hands onto hips. And then open up. Now, you keep your hands on your hips, that's great. Or we'll start with making fists, interlacing fingers. And then floss the shoulder blades together. Bring the hips forward with strong thigh muscles. And then open up through the throat, the heart. Then tuck the chin in. Draw yourself on up and release the bind again. Untuck the toes, bow down, and let yourself sink down just for a few breaths to reset. Can you make a dedication to yourself for gratitude, for opportunities for new beginnings? You come on up and we'll prepare for one more back bend. This is hopefully an opportunity. You're really opening through the heart, a chance to let go, to take in again, to let go even more, and to spread the love within your heart to those that are around you. Hands start on the hips. Walk fingers down to heels. Lift up through the heart, open through the chest. If you want to take this into a more serious back bend, you can come back up, reset, and then untuck your toes. Otherwise, the important thing is you want the hips coming forward. Open up, release. Remember to do deep breathing. Coming out of it with just as much intention as we went in. Start with one hand to the hip, other hand to the hip, come on up. And then bringing the knees together, I'm going to sink down one more time. Hands to grab the top, the heels of the feet, tuck the chin in, top of the head down onto the mat, and then just any amount, lift the hips, any amount. Straighten out through the arms. And then lowering down, moving over to one side, and taking the legs out. So, 90-degree bend in the legs, hands behind the hamstrings, open through the heart. And then release the arms, bring them down. Hands together at heart center. Lift up, meet chest to the heart, and then twist from one side to the other. Really use the exhale breath as you twist. All that work we've been doing forward and back, we're going to get some rotations into it now. Five, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come on up, hug in. Cross at the ankles to come forward. Just ease yourself back to table. Then take the right leg back. Flex the right foot. Now you're going to cross it all the way over. Tap the ball of the foot. And then a big reach out to the outside. Good. The hip is so happy about getting a chance to do these rotations. And your core is saying thank you because you're paying attention to it. Mind-body connection. Big sweeping arc. It's the arc of your life. It's going to have highs. It's going to have lows. But you always have a chance to bounce back around. Okay, now, this time you're going to leave it out and help it all the way out. Nice and straight. Plant the foot. Walk the hands in. Come on up. Take a big side stretch. Breathe in to the open lung here. Whichever side that is working for you right now. Okay, come on up. Lean forward. Let's walk the hands out to do a puppy stretch with an extended gate pose leg. Pull the hips back, get really long into the torso. Maybe forehead hits mat, maybe not. Come on up first, walk hands in. Can you use core strength to lift the straight leg up and then bend the knee and bring it in? Good. We're going to come to the opposite side. Starts off by reaching back through the left heel, taking an arc and crossing it over. Maybe you can see your big toe. Hello. And then all the way out to the side and extend and tap. Again, try to make the big arc again. Big arc. See how the fluidity is on this side versus the other. All these things you can learn about yourself through the practice. As you stretch out dynamically through the hips, working your core muscles. Take 3, 2, and then keep the leg fully extended out. Plant onto the outside of the left foot. Walk the hands in to stand up. Reach right arm up and over. Side stretch. Breathe in to the right lung here. Fluidity into your breath. Find a gazing point. Do you remember what you did on the other side? If not, you're being very present. So find one. Left hand comes up. Reach forward with a flat back and extend out. And take the chest down. Take the forehead down. Actively press out through the outside of the left foot. Keep length in the entire torso. And then walk the hands in. Can you use your core muscles to engage the whole outside leg and then lift it up and pull the knee back in? Shift all the way back to a child's pose. Take a few breaths. Walk your hands over to the right, center, and then over to the left. Come on up to table so you can flip yourself back around onto your seat. And we're going to come back into that boat, this time with legs lifted. Hands to heart and twist. It's our last little bit of real engaging core work. So see if you can stick with it. Not for me, but for yourself. Five, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good work. All right. Plant the feet. Lower yourself on down to the mat. Bring the toes in so you can just touch them with your fingers. I'm sorry, your heels. Hello, heels. And then lift the hips up. Really see if you can press into, we've done a lot of work for the legs. So activate those hamstrings even more to press your hips a little higher. Bringing the chest towards the chin. Walk fingertips down a little bit more. And then lower down. Good, press yourself up again. Bring the feet closer together, knees closer together. Then lift right knee into the chest, extend it out and up. See if you can press the foot up more towards closer to the ceiling by pressing into your supporting foot. Then cross ankle over thigh. Open up through the hip as you try to bring the knees to parallel and press your hips up even higher. And then lower hips down. Bring the left knee or shin so you can interlace fingers behind it. Then try to get the whole low back onto the mat. And if it's not, you'll need to switch and grip perhaps the hamstring, maybe even loosen the pull a little bit. Actively press the right knee away. Try to keep the hips in line and open up through the right hip. And then lower left knee down. Keep the cross of the ankle on the thigh and then let the legs drop over to the left so that the right foot plants. Right knee is still up to the sky and then open up to the right. And you can try to draw the knee a little more further away from you, but keep a connection of the heel onto the thigh. If any of this is not working for your knee, release that bind and just find supine twist that works for you. Take a couple deep breaths. You've done the work to arrive, so just enjoy. Here I'm going to undo the cross for myself and take a couple more deep breaths with knees stacked over knee. Find what works for you. Breathe and surrender. Use the help of your left hand to bring the knees back on up. And then take some freedom of movements here. I'm so happy I've got my microphone figured out. We got some music, so let's swim to the rhythm. This free, happy baby. Maybe cross side to side. Maybe doing different things with different legs at different times. Whoa, that's a lot of different. A few more breaths to play. Release through the upper body, release through the forehead, the jaw, cheeks, the neck. And then hug yourself in, big hug. Such great work. Lower the low back onto the mat. Tuck the chin in slightly. Then lower feet and touch the heels with fingertips. Hello, heels. press yourself on up by pressing into the feet. Okay, hug the left knee into the chest and then press it on up to the ceiling. Super strong and active here. Can you lift the foot a little more higher to the ceiling with chin tucked in? Strong to the right hamstring, pressing up. Then keep the lift and cross the left ankle over the thigh and open up left thigh. Feel the opening. As much as you're working in the low body to open the hip, to strengthen the right hamstring, soften through the chest. All this work we've created to open the heart. Can you feel it beat? Lower hips down, keep the bind of the ankle on thigh, and then let the legs fall over to the right, stamp the left heel on the ground on the right side, and then twist. Now give yourself as many breaths in this position, but if you have any knee pain, then you'll need to change the position. Open up through the left side of the body. You can use the right hand for a little bit of leverage, but just be gentle. Let gravity do most of the work. And if you want to change your position, go ahead. You can stack knee over knee. Luxuriate in this twist. Heart openers do so much because it gives you a focus of your heart center area, which also includes your lungs. So it can help you connect to your diaphragm, connect to your lungs, connect to your ribs, connect to your spine. Take your right hand, use it for support to bring it in, and then this time take the knees out wide and grab for the outsides of the feet. Pull the heels in towards the groin, and then lengthen the legs out. Prepare for rest. Just a minute here, but make it count and let go and be present. One moment of presence can be equal to an hour of a busy mind. So just settle in. Fully let go. Come back to just observing your breath. Let it be natural. Observe how your body feels now. And then let go of that thought. Come back to the breath and recognize whatever's come up now and let go of that. Now certainly stay here if you want to take some more time. Otherwise, start to move your fingers and your toes. Take a big morning stretch of those core muscles that you've worked. And then give yourself a big hug. Hug your knees in. Roll side to side. Find your favorite side, and then just take a few breaths there. Ease yourself on up as you realize you've had this opportunity to renew yourself, get a fresh start, a new beginning. Bring hands together at heart center. I thank you so much for the practice. I thank this practice for the power that it can have. I thank this community for the power and the love that it has. Together we can get a lot stronger. And through the practice, you can get a lot stronger. The inner light in me sees the inner light in all of you. Namaste. All right, I'm stopping recording now.